Hello, thanks for joining us today. My name is Lisa Miller. I'm the Regional Communications Officer at the Red Cross of Alaska, and joining me is Andrew Bogar, who is in our Juneau office. And tell everyone who you are.
So my name is Andrew Bogar. I'm the Disaster Program Manager for the southeast of Alaska.
And Andrew, we are speaking today about deployment. It's something we've been talking about a lot in our chapter because we've been doing a lot of it. And we've come to learn that you are deploying, so you'll be leaving temporarily. When will you deploy?
So actually I leave tonight, approximately 8:30 out of Juneau, and Fool's Day before the flying, and I'll arrive in Orlando, which is going to be a staging area, tomorrow evening.
So you have like 2 more hours before you have to leave for the airport, basically. And you're leaving to Orlando, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about how long does your deployment last?
Well, for me, a deployment can last normally 2 weeks, but it could get extended to 3, sometimes 4, but traditionally they're 2 weeks.
And let's back up and tell us a little bit about why you're going to Orlando. I guess we skipped the obvious, but...
It's okay. So they're both Orlando, specifically Florida, south of Orlando, has been hit by Hurricane Irma. And we've had, I'm trying to think of the number off the top of my head. I know between Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma, the wildfires in California and Oregon and all over, we've got over 30 volunteers deployed at this time.
Yeah, from our chapter, I believe it's it's over 35. It's probably close to 40 now. And then nationwide, I want to say it's around 6,000 volunteers between Harvey and Irma that are on the ground with disaster relief.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be there for possibly 3 weeks. That's a long time.
It is.
And what will you be doing there?
Well, at this stage, we don't actually know. They're putting us together in a team that could pretty much handle anything we're confronted with or asked to do. And I'm looking forward to it, but there's a lot of uncertainty. And I've had situations where you'd leave your hometown to go do one job, and in the air, the situation on the ground has changed, and you show up and you end up doing a different job. Mm-hmm. I mean, ultimately, we're all brought together to go down and take care of people when they need it the most. So anything you do is you're taking care of somebody, and you're supporting the operation one way or another. So no matter what they ask me to do, it'll get done.
So it sounds like you just go with the expectation that there will be lots of uncertainty, and you kind of have to go wherever you're needed.
That is the nature of disaster response, and no pun intended, but things are fluid on the ground, and you just adapt and you overcome with it and drive on.
Yeah, exactly. So for folks who are considering joining the Red Cross to deploy, I know a deciding factor for a lot of people are the costs to leave their families and their jobs for 2 to 3 weeks. What does the Red Cross cover as far as, cost if someone's trying to figure out the logistics of if they can do this?
So financially, it's almost nothing from the volunteer. Our training is all free. You have to give up some time to take the training. It's online. It can be done in class with other volunteers. The travel down there is covered by the American Red Cross. The food, the places you stay, it's all covered by the American Red Cross, or in sometimes partnered agencies, other organizations that we work with. Mm-hmm. If you've ever done a week of camping in your life, if you've ever gone on a vacation and you have, minimal luggage, you've got everything you need. I'm taking a duffel bag and a backpack, and I'm good to go. So there's not a whole lot you need to buy yourself. You just need to have helping hands and a big heart. The one cost that we will pay is your energy, your time, your passion. It can be trying. It can be stressful. It can be emotionally exhausting. But again, it is a disaster, and imagine how it feels for the people who are living through it. And so I'm just glad to go and help.
So tell me a little bit about what you anticipate your lodging situation will be for yourself and as well as for the volunteers down there.
So the assumption we're operating off on right now is we'll be staying in what's called a staff shelter. So it's going to look just like the disaster shelters that our shelter clients, those who've been displaced, are staying in. A large room, bunch of cots, bunch of tired volunteers. So be close living.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's okay.
Yeah. So that's another reason to pack light, right? You're not, right? Yeah. Okay. And is this your first deployment?
No. So I've deployed to Sitka during a mudslide. I've deployed to California for wildfires, and I deployed to the East Coast for Hurricane Matthew.
Wow. So you have not only a lot of deployments, but also a lot of different types of disasters in your experience.
Yes, the disasters have changed a little bit, but a lot of what we do doesn't necessarily change. Our service is supposed to be scalable and is supposed to be the same for the most part. And now each community is different, so the resources that are in that community are different. Each community is different, so the situation varies. But a shelter, for the most part, is a shelter. Those people need, food. They need a place to stay where it's safe and dry.
Right.
And they need to know that there are people there to care for them. And regardless if it's a wildfire or a mudslide or a hurricane, meeting those human needs are really not going to change too much. Now, how we get there and how we provide those services may change. May come by boat, may come by emergency response vehicle, but the care is still the same.
Yeah. So this will be your fourth deployment. So from your experience, when you return home, what sticks with you? Like, what makes you want to do this again?
Knowing that I mattered. One of the things that I learned, or one of the things that I guess nourishes me, it might be a word for it, is when I was active duty military, I kind of knew my place in the world. I had tasks and I had purpose. When that uniform came off, this provides it back to me. There is a little bit of the adrenaline rush moving into chaos, moving towards the sound of chaos. That's something that I personally do enjoy. And then there's the Red Cross family. There are volunteers that I will see during this deployment I haven't seen since the last time I deployed. Mm-hmm. As a situation unfolds, we start reaching out over social media and we start reconnecting with people going, are we ready? We're ready to do this, right?
Right.
And we live to support each other and help each other. So even when we come back, that family doesn't go away. And this has become that second or third family for me.
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I'm so glad I'm a part of.
So for those who are thinking maybe this is something that they want to do, it might be for them, we do have the Disaster Institute that's coming up. It starts tomorrow, right? I can't believe it's already tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot of energy and time we put into coordinating this, and it stuck up on us.
Thank you, Andrew, for all of your effort. Tell us what it's about. What can someone expect who's brand new or not a volunteer yet with the Red Cross?
Mm-hmm. So the Institute actually coincides with our community's it's Safety and Preparedness Expo. And it's a time for us to build resiliency throughout our community here in Juneau. And us specifically, the Red Cross, is providing sheltering training, damage assessment training, disaster action team training, and casework training. And these are the different skill sets a volunteer would need should they respond to a disaster here locally, or should they want to deploy to the lower 48 and help, help the people affected down there. And the classes themselves will last anywhere from an hour to 3 hours, depending on what they're taking. But they're being provided by senior volunteers and other staff people that have come out from Anchorage. And we're looking forward to it because not also are we sending people to the lower 48, we have to maintain our capacity here. Disasters don't RSVP, and they can happen at any time. So just because we're going to the lower 48 doesn't mean we can deplete our numbers here. And we're getting to a point where we're kind of at that we're at a critical point where we need more volunteers, not just to deploy, but also to help out here down the street.
Yeah, I mean, there was just flooding not too long ago. And I don't think that the Red Cross, I don't think it got serious to the point where we were called in, but, there's flooding, there's all sorts of things that could happen right here at home.
Yeah, for example, 10 days ago in Sitka, there was a mudslide. Now, fortunately, as I understand it, no homes were directly affected, no families were displaced. But as soon as we got word of that, we're calling out to our local government partners saying, we are ready if you need us. What do you need from us right now? And we constantly live in that communication with our community partners, both nonprofit and government. And yeah, so even though I'm leaving, there's still a volunteer in my place that will be doing that in my absence. And as a volunteer organization, we rely on those volunteers to do everything from answering the phone to driving emergency response vehicles, unloading trucks, and responding to disasters.
So it sounds like folks that show up and are brand new, want to become volunteers, there's still time for them to deploy to Harvey and Irma response, as well as become a local volunteer.
Absolutely. This response is going to go on for quite a long time. And in many places, we're still in what we refer to as the response phase. And as individuals leave the shelters and go back home, we're going to go into what's referred to as a recovery phase. And those families that are moving back to their homes and assessing the damage or what they've lost or what they need, we're going to have to help them find their new normal. What is that new normal going to look like? What resources will they need? Who do we need to get them in contact with? And that's where those caseworkers I mentioned earlier come to play.
Right.
And because that is what they're there to do, is to help them find that new normal.
Okay, so to wrap up, just give us a quick one more time. Where is the Institute? When does it start? And how do you get more information?
So to get more information, you can go to redcross.org/Alaska. There's an event set up there. You can follow that link and register for the event. You can also go to the volunteer section and apply to volunteer, and a volunteer or another individual will contact you. And the event actually starts at 11 tomorrow, and then on Saturday it starts at 10. And that room's gonna be chock full of Red Cross volunteers. Flag one of them down and ask them all the questions you want to.
And can anyone just show up on tomorrow and Saturday?
Absolutely. And the event itself is, yeah, absolutely. The event's free, and we have plenty of resources. So if somebody wants to come and take the class, absolutely. The more the merrier. We always need more volunteers.
Okay. Well, I will let you go. I know you have to pack your bags and get to the airport. So I wish you good luck and good health and safe travels. And come back to Juneau soon. And we'll talk to you once you get on the ground. We'll be in touch.
Look forward to it.
Okay.
Talk to you.